Brian Mason, who fatally shot a lifelong friend while showing her a gun he said was for her protection, was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Brian did not report the shooting for almost 24 hours, saying he was upset and confused and drove around for hours before stopping at the Miamisburg Police Department. His report of the shooting and leaving the body at the house without calling for help was captured on a Miamisburg police officer's body camera. This is a diagram of how John Edward Jones was stuck for 27 hours in Nutty Putty Cave before passing away. After John got stuck inside Utah's Nutty Putty Cave and died there in 2009, it was closed for good, with John's body forever sealed inside. In July 2013, Geraldine Largay got lost in the Appalachian Mountains. Despite desperate texts to her husband, they were undelivered. Missing a rendezvous, she was reported missing on July 24, 2013. Her body was found over 2 years later, 3,000 feet from the trail. Her journal revealed a haunting survival for 26 days, ending with a poignant request dated August 6, 2013. This video footage captured the moment when Francis Zuber discovered Ian Steger, who was facing almost certain death, trapped upside down in a tree well of snow.
Hey, you alright? Can you hear me? Come here. You okay? You alright? You okay? Can you breathe?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. We're both gonna catch our breath for a sec. I'm gonna help dig you out, okay?
Thank you.
In 2002, Lisa Marie Young vanished in Nanaimo after accepting a ride from a mysterious man. She was last seen looking frustrated, trying to get back from a house party, and her cell phone's signal traced to an area known as Departure Bay. Despite her being missing for 20 years, there have been no arrests. Her disappearance is a haunting, unsolved homicide. Diagnosed with polio at age 3, Diane Odell had spent nearly 60 years encased in a 750-pound iron lung, only to die when a power outage shut down the machine that was keeping her alive. Pregnant Terry Harris, 35, was beaten to death with a hammer by drug addict Damien Bendel, who also bludgeoned her son, John Bennett, 13, her daughter Lacey Bennett, 11, and Lacey's friend, Connie Gent, also 11, who was at the house for a sleepover. Bendel was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life tariff in 2022. In 2012, homeless John Byrne rescued his pet rabbit, Barney, thrown off Dublin's O'Connell Bridge. Despite Barney's heart stopping, John's determined resuscitation revived the rabbit. John's heroic act earned him awards, public support, and the perpetrator, Gary Kearney, received a 4-month prison sentence. In 2011, flight attendant Sheila Frederick noticed a terrified girl on a flight who was accompanied by an older man. Frederick discreetly told the girl to go to the toilet, where she had left a note asking if the girl was okay. The girl wrote, "I need help," on the note. The police were waiting when the plane landed, and the girl was saved from a human trafficker. In 1969, black citizens weren't allowed to swim in white-only swimming pools. Mr. Rogers invited a black officer on his show and asked if he wanted to dip his feet in his plastic pool in order to cool off. Mr. Rogers joined him, breaking the color barrier live on television.
This is going to turn into a beautiful day.
In 2014, Shauna Hammond wore a spaghetti strainer for her driver's license, citing Pastafarianism, an atheist-founded religion protesting creationism. The colander, Pastafarian headgear, was allowed under state rules. Shauna sees it as a symbol of freedom, advocating against forced beliefs. A California care home went bankrupt. About 16 elderly residents were abandoned. Most staff left, but the janitor and the cook stayed behind to care for the residents at their own expense. One of the men said, "I would only go home for 1 hour, take a shower, then be there for 24 hours." This is a photo of Indian anthropologist Madhumala Chattopadhyay on North Sentinel Island in 1991, during which coconuts were distributed to the island's inhabitants. This is one of the only known friendly encounter between the Sentinelese and outsiders, P. On April 1st, 1974, the town of Sitka in Alaska faced panic as the Mount Edgecumbe volcano had seemed ready to erupt. Coast Guard investigation revealed it was a prank by a local called Porky Bikar, igniting tires in the crater, shocking the town. Despite Porky warning several authorities beforehand, the Coast Guard was left in the dark. In the 1980s, the Chinese government encouraged one of the tallest men in China and the tallest female basketball player to have a child together. The result of this was famous NBA player Yao Ming. James Harrison, known as the man with the golden arm, saved 2.4 million babies with his rare blood. The anti-D antibody found in his blood prevents the rhesus disease, making him Australia's most prolific blood donor. After starting at age 18 in 1954, he retired in 2018 at age 81, a national hero with numerous accolades. This photo shows the grandfather of child actress Renee Shin Yi Chen breaks down at the child's funeral in 1982. Renee passed away as a result of a devastating accident on the set of the movie The Twilight Zone, the movie. She was decapitated after being hit by the rotor blade of a helicopter while filming an action scene. This is a Serbian soldier sleeping with his father, who came to visit him on the front line near Belgrade sometime between 1914 and 1915. In January 2023, 2 helicopters collided off the Gold Coast near SeaWorld in Australia, killing 4 people and injuring several others. One helicopter, which had just taken off, ended up crashing. The other, which was returning, managed to land with heavy damage. The victims included a British couple who were holidaying in Queensland at the time, and an Australian woman who died. A 10-year-old boy, Nicholas, was among the seriously injured survivors. In 1140, a German king besieged the town of Weinberg and ordered all the women to leave, saying they could take whatever they could carry on their backs. The women left their belongings and carried their husbands on their shoulders instead. The king kept his word. Skylar Nemetz was sentenced to 13.5 years in prison after being charged with manslaughter after fatally shooting his wife. He was cleared of the murder charge because he thought the gun wasn't loaded. After surviving the Andersonville prison camp, this is what a Union soldier looked like. Andersonville Prison was a Confederate prisoner of war camp. CCTV footage from 2017 shows Joshua Simpson following his ex-girlfriend Molly McLaren into her local gym. Stalking Molly persistently since their breakup, Simpson proceeded to follow her to the parking lot moments later, where he brutally stabbed her 75 times. This is one of the last known images of Tim Bergling, aka Avicii, taken shortly before he ended his own life. One of his final entries in his journal read, "The shedding of the soul is the last attachment before it restarts." He was 28 years old. Recently graduated Louisville police officer Luis Rodriguez was fired before starting his first shift. Responding to a collision, officers found Rodriguez in the driver's seat, suspected of DUI. Despite just completing the academy, he faced arrest, leading to immediate termination by his police chief. J.C. Lee DeGard, abducted at 11, spent 18 years in captivity. Miraculously found in 2009, her story captivates hearts worldwide. A tale of resilience, survival, and the strength to reclaim life after enduring unimaginable circumstances. In a shocking turn of events, a woman has been found guilty of killing her friend using eye drops. The sinister crime unfolded when the toxic substance was slipped into the victim's drink. A chilling reminder that even the most unsuspecting items can become tools of harm.